Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. Today we're here once again with the Vampire Coast, going to be taking on the High Elves. As you can see, I brought a heavy crab rush build. We've got Silostra, another Rotting Leviathan, Prometheans, and the Lamprey's Revenge with 4 zombie mobs and 3 polearms. We've also got some bats, and very key to this entire operation, some scurvy dogs hidden in the woods. For my high elf opponent, he's got 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, Tyrion on horseback, along with a Noble on horseback. We've got a Life Mage on a chariot, a front line of Spearmen mixed with some White Lions, 1 unit of White Lions, and a whole bunch of archers. So yeah, pretty straightforward build. Now, I was hoping that my opponent was not paying attention, and it looks like I am going to be able to get a nice sneaky engagement here with the Hounds to take out these Bolt Throwers. Obviously, the Bolt Throwers are one of the main dangers to the crabs, so I want to try and take them out very quickly. And one of the reasons that I will almost always bring at least 1 or 2 units of Light Cav against the Vampire Coast is because this happened to me in a tournament once. I want to say it was one of Turn's tournaments a while back, like when the Vampire Coast was first released. I was playing Dark Elves against the Vampire Coast, and almost exactly the same thing happened to me, where some Vanguarded Hounds absolutely ate all of my Bolt Throwers. And from then on, I learned that even if you don't expect to use your cavalry for something, you know, like harassing the backline of your opponent, if you are planning to take artillery yourself, it's a good idea to at least have 1 or 2 units of light cav to protect your own back line against something like this from happening. Because you can see just with 1 unit of hounds here, I was able to shut down a lot of points worth of bolt throwers and still get out in time. Even with the quick reaction speed of these archers, they're still not fast enough to quickly finish off these hounds, whereas like a unit of Illyrian Reavers, for example, would have been able to finish them off very quickly. And Cav does struggle to a degree against the Vampire Coast, but having at least 1 unit of light Cav, I think, is pretty essential in protecting yourself from something like this. Now, Tyrion and his vengeful nobility friends are going to go after those scurvy dogs, which is fine by me, because with the bolt throwers gone, Tyrion and the noble are the only ones that really pose a threat to the heavy crabs. So we're going to go ahead and just absolutely get to it. Crabs and zombies pushing up across the field. You can see the sweet singer herself finally has a high elf audience, going to be able to perform for the people of Lothern, and immediately summoning her retinue of knights who are going to charge around into the back line. And of course, being that the White Lions are the only armor-piercing unit, I'm going to immediately rush all of the crabs in on top of them and just absolutely annihilate them, while the damned Knights Errant clean up the back line here. These archers are definitely in for a rough situation. Now, Tyrion and his friends, realizing that, they probably shouldn't be chasing these hounds anymore, are going to come in here in just a minute and start targeting some of these more high-value units. But you can see already that the High Elves just getting completely surrounded by zombies here and not able to stop the crab rush in any way, shape, or form. We've got heavy Rotting Prometheans now coming through, a summoned unit as well. Oh, man. I know the Vampire Coasts are kind of filthy, but personally I like playing... I've been enjoying playing them more rush-focused recently, and especially with the heavy crab rush, you just go with so many different crabs, Silostra, the giant enemy crab, everything. It's pretty awesome, and it's... because people tend to expect, like, range spam from the coast, it's often, like a perfect counter to what they've brought in terms of their build, because it's so unexpected. But yeah, at this point you can see the heroes are fighting here. Now Silostra is going to start to take quite a bit of damage. The upgraded invocation, you can see it did not hit all of these units. Especially the lower zombie units, looks like it didn't hit. It actually hit the Rotting Prometheans, who then immediately degenerated, which is highly unfortunate. But hey, we got some guys like doing a little dance over here. That's neat. Silostra going to pull out of the blob here because she was taking some unnecessary damage from Tyrion. And of course, Tyrion and the Noble just going to be stuck. They really can't move much at all because of the crabs here. Can really dictate the pace of the engagement. And because of the fleet captain here, you can also periodically drop the taunt on these high-value heroic units who really aren't taking very much damage. They are dishing out some okay damage. There's just so many targets for them to take down realistically that it's going to be tough. You can see the Hounds and Bats both were stabilized in terms of their leadership and HP and everything, and both are going to be used to chase off archers here. The Hounds, obviously, with their better attack stats, will be able to take down these tattered archers. This other unit of archers, especially still with their martial prowess, will be able to fight those bats back, but at least they're tied down for the time being. And yeah, just generally things are looking not great for the High Elves, to say the least. You can see Tyrion getting taunted here. You know, the fleet captain calling him lily-livered landlubber, or something like that. I don't know. You think of your own. Type in the comments below your best vampire fleet captain insulting Tyrion insult. I'm curious to see what you guys can come up with. But yeah, Tyrion just getting absolutely pounded on by crabs at this point. You know, I say that. He's actually not taking that much damage, but of course, because of the superior healing on my side, I can keep these big monsters sustained and going as much as possible. The High Elves, they have tools to deal with big armored monsters, but you tend not to see them in this matchup because they get countershot so heavily, which is mainly, I mean, obviously Tyrion and the Nobles, they do some okay anti-large AP, but like Sisters of Avalorn obviously are the most common. You just don't see them very much in this matchup because they get outnumbered so hard, and generally they'll get blown up by, you know, like deck gunners or cannons or Queen Bess or something like that. It can potentially be really, really rough, but yeah, you can see the mage gets caught out from the blob here and is going to get absolutely crabbed on. Yep, chariot down, and no more healing for the filthy elves. You can see the nobles getting very low at this point. The supporting infantry is all but pretty much done for, and Tyrion's also taking quite a bit of HP damage as well. That taunt lowering his melee defense and armor and everything. So yeah. Oh man, Tyrion versus all the crabs. Didn't bring enough butter for this one. And with that, it will be a victory for the Vampire Coast. So well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. I know it's, I have taken this build a few times recently, and so I'm probably not going to do it too often just because I don't want you guys to get sick of it, but certainly, like I said, I enjoy playing the Vampire Coast sort of counter to what most people would expect, which is to play this heavy crab rush, especially against the High Elves. You know, it's just, they get put into such a tough situation where they really don't have a lot of options to take care of something like this, especially when the Hounds, which did start out with, I think they started with 2 XP chevrons, managed to get 2 more over the course of a battle, and 109 kills. MVPs, absolute MVPs there. That's probably the best use I've ever got out of Scurvy Dogs in any game, so good boys. You know, all of the High Elf bones, and you know, we'll play fetch and everything later. But the crabs obviously did a lot of damage as well for my opponent. Archers managed to get some okay kills. You can see the infantry front line did okay holding up against the zombies, but ultimately Tyrion and the noble, you know, obviously losing the bolt throwers was a big loss. They needed to be on anti-large and focused on like Silostra or the fleet captain from the start. Probably the fleet captain to remove the healing, and she has a lower HP pool than Silostra as well. So if I had this same build, basically, I would have used the Eagle Claws to focus Silostra. Obviously, need to try and protect your backline against the Hounds, and then just keeping Tyrion and the Noble high and tight to the infantry line, so that when that heavy crab rush arrives, they are there to help stem the tide, do a bit of counter damage and everything. But yeah, definitely a tough matchup for the High Elves. Like I said, just dealing with the big armored monsters, especially because, you know, you have to kind of account for both playstyles, right? Like if they take rush or if they take ranged, you need to be able to punish both. And Sisters of Avalorn, just because the cost can be a bit tricky to bring. I mean, if you wanted to go, you know, actually I might go with Avalorn here, just because it would give you access to Dryads, which are a little bit of a cheaper DPS option that can do okay against zombies. That is going to limit you to Alariel only, pretty much for a Legendary Lord, unless you want to take a Prince or a Princess, but I think Alariel is honestly not too bad here. Taking her on the Grey Eagle could potentially be risky, so I might just take her on horseback, and then against the Vampire Coast, probably Foz Protection, Earthblood. I'm tempted with Arcane Unforging and Banishment. Both could be a lot of fun, but for the sake of cost, we can get Alariel relatively cheap here. And then the Noble on horseback, we'll use 2 to hunt. enemy large units, and then from here we can do some different things. The bolt throwers aren't a bad idea. We'll grab a couple of them. Let's grab a couple of light cav to help protect the back line. Grab a couple of Sisters of Avalorn. Now I really would love to get some more traditional archers as well, but it's just tough. It's tough. Yeah, I'd have to play around with this build a little bit more and maybe try and figure something specific out. Like maybe only take one Sister of Avalorn and just bring more. Oh man, we're like 3 points off from a regular archer. That's gonna bug me so bad. Let's just figure it out real quick. What can I not bring? I do kind of want everything with Alariel. Do I have to have Alariel on a horse, or could she go on foot? We could probably take her on foot and just hide her in the back somewhere, right? I mean, she's probably going to get pounded by crabs, you know, without being able to escape, but hey, maybe we can use some of these other units to try and bail her out. Something like this, maybe. Maybe you trade out one of these archers for another spearman, or we do even have enough for a third reaver, maybe. I don't know. You can do some different things, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What's your preferred go-to build for the High Elves versus the Coast? Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.